Hello and welcome. This is the 15th episode of the Bits vs. Bytes podcast. I'm your host, Arma Grigic, and today I have Renate Sportel. She is manager innovation at Albertheijn, and it's actually Albertheijn online, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
So, could you tell a little bit about your background and how you got to Albertheijn?
Yeah, of course. So when I was 18, I started psychology. I started studying psychology at the University of Utrecht. And I've always been interested in people and the reasons behind their behavior. But when I finished my master's, I decided that I didn't want to become an actual psychologist.
Okay.
So I switched to company life. And after working in a commercial role, I made a switch to an innovation role at an insurance company. And then I found out that working in innovation is actually my passion.
Okay.
And what I really like about it is that in innovation, I can combine my interest in people with finding new, awesome technological possibilities. And regarding innovation, I've always been interested in retail because a lot of exciting things are happening in that field, both nationally and internationally. So then I found a role at Albertheijn on the internet, and I applied. And when I went for a job interview, it was an instant match. So that's how I ended up at Albertheijn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what spoke to you about Albertheijn besides being the retail? Well, it's kind of a supermarket king in the Netherlands. Right?
Yeah.
So what spoke to you about Albertheijn in particular?
Well, Albertheijn has been existing for a long time. And they've always been super innovative. So compared to other retailers in the Netherlands, they are always the front runner. So, for example, we helped the Dutch citizens buy a refrigerator.
Oh, really?
In the 50s. So they've always been, Albertheijn has been such an innovative company over the years.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to combine my innovation passion with retail. And that's what I found in Albertheijn.
Okay.
And what also appealed to me.
Yeah. Because those are kind of things that a lot of people don't know about Albertheijn. It's such a household name. A lot of generations, I think, in the Netherlands have kind of, they've grown up with Albertheijn as a name, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's the cool part, of course, is that even for a supermarket chain, they're, as you said, innovative in a lot of things, but which we will, of course, get to. But I want to go back to your role.
Yeah.
So what does your role entail? So what does someone like you do at Albertheijn?
Yeah. So as a manager innovation, I'm responsible for the labs department at Albertheijn Online. And as a department, we are responsible for creating new business models and implementing technological innovations.
Okay.
So we basically try to solve customer problems by finding new technological possibilities. So that's also the connection to my psychology background. And I'm responsible for translating trends and customer problems into new opportunities for Albertheijn Online. The daily management of the team, for example, but also management of projects that we do, stakeholder management. And we also work a lot with other partners in an external ecosystem, for example, a lot of startups.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
Okay. And your psychology background helps also in some kind of test or something like that, I can imagine, right? Could you tell a little bit about that? Yeah,
because we work fully by implementing the lean startup method.
Okay.
And that means that we basically validate every step we make. So when we have an idea, we immediately validate it with our customers. So I'm constantly busy with the behavior of our customers, translating it into technological possibilities, but also validating the technological possibilities with those customers again. And in that cycle, we are able to launch innovations within 3 months.
Okay.
So that's pretty fast for a corporate. And so I constantly combine technological interests with customer behavior.
Yeah, so how do you do that validation part? So how does that work? Do you have like a panel or something? Or how do you actually test those ideas out with particular customers?
Yeah, we do it in multiple ways. But most of the time we do a lot of customer interviews. Sometimes we use existing panels, but other times it's a really specific target audience. So then we find that audience and just go there and talk to customers.
Okay.
So the lean startup method says that you should just go out on the street and validate with possible customers in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of because a lot of times, at least from what I've noticed in the past, is that when I talk to customers and I ask them, okay, what would you like, or what they really can't formulate an answer to that.
Yeah.
Just because in some cases you don't even know you needed something if it's not there.
Exactly.
So how do you work around? Do you work around that at all?
The key is to not ask what you want. So if you ask like, do you want this product? Everybody has the tendency to say yes.
Yeah. Even if they don't need it.
Yeah. So you should find the customer problem.
Mm-hmm.
So you should just ask, what's your problem regarding this specific topic? Then build a solution for that problem. And then validate the solution, for example, by a prototype. So you don't ask if you want the prototype, you just build it and then find out if customers want it. Yeah,
that's the thing, is that that's also a mistake we made, is asking, okay, what would you like to see in a new, I don't know, in a new version or whatever. And the people, it's not that they can't think about it on that level, but it's more like they can't really conceptualize what they want to see. That's the problem, right?
Yeah, it's also the example of Ford. If you asked people at that time what they wanted, they would just say, I want a faster horse.
Yeah.
And then Ford built a car. People couldn't even imagine that something like that could exist. But he built it anyway. So that's also what we're trying to do at Albert Heijn Online.
Yeah, it's also the thing that happened with the iPhone and innovations like that. It's just actually getting to something that people didn't even know they needed.
Exactly.
That's it, right?
And technological possibilities are often not... people don't know about the technological possibilities there are. So we should...
we should think it for them and then actually present the things that we try to, that we maybe want to release. That's the point.
Exactly.
So, of course, everybody knows Albert Heijn in the Netherlands. So do you primarily work on aha.nl, or do you also work on other websites regarding Albert Heijn as well?
Yeah, I primarily work for Albert Heijn Online, but this also entitles products of Ethos and Go & Gal.
Okay.
So we work a lot together with all the different divisions in our company. And of course, we also work together with our colleagues of bol.com.
Yeah.
To learn from each other, but also to create an optimal customer journey cross-channel. So, for example, bol.com customers can access the website of aha.nl by entering their bol.com account. So that's an example of what we did over there.
Yeah, you have kind of a single sign-on solution, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And that's something that I talked about with Menno Vis as well, from bol.com. He also mentioned the whole liquor store thing, so the thing that they are actually doing with Go & Gal right now, with bol.com as well. Yeah. So it's all because of you being one family in that sense, that you are all a part of the same holding. So it does span over multiple websites, that's what you're saying, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of competitors lately in the kind of online grocery shopping experience market. Picnic was one of the guests we had on the podcast as well a little while ago. So where do you think that Albert Heijn has an edge on those kind of other kind of startup? Well, Picnic is a startup. Actually, my guest told me so. And it's also, they started in 2015, which is a lot smaller in comparison to what Albert Heijn has as a track record. So where do you think that edge lies for Albert Heijn?
Yeah. Well, we've been in existence since 1887. And over the years, we've had many competitors. And thanks to innovation, we still exist. So that's also the beauty of the dynamic retail field, right? A lot of competitors, and since the online grocery market is growing, it's also logical that many companies are entering this market. But where we have an edge, I think, is that we have tons of experience. We were the first on the road, actually. So since the mid-'80s, we've had James Taylor Super. So that's pretty cool. We have an extremely large assortment and network. We are very eager to test and innovate. Customers can also choose from multiple time slots, so they can actually choose when the delivery is taking place. We deliver basically in the entire country. And we provide our customers with a lot of extra services like the bezorgbundel, the Google Home, but also smart lock delivery, for example.
Yeah. And to me, the real thing here is I think the edge is also a little bit on the logistics side, right? Because you kind of already have the whole logistics network already set up. It's just that you need to, of course, you already have the website and stuff like that. That helps. But I think that logistics side and already knowing and already having that already in place is also an edge, right? I think that helps.
We've had so much experience over the years, and I think that's an advantage.
Yeah, and the reason I'm also asking is that I don't know how many people do work at the kind of headquarters of albertheijn. Do you know that?
I don't know the exact number, but it's
quite a lot, yeah. The reason I'm asking is that what you usually see is that bigger companies like albertheijn have a much it's a harder time against kind of startups which have less kind of overhead and less people to compete.
Well, what I experience is that a lot big corporates like Ahold tend to be an oil tanker. And,
exactly.
Smaller companies are more speedboat style. But that's why I love my job at Albert Heijn Online, is because we try to bring the startup culture within the corporate environment. So we tend to work as a startup, and therefore we are able to launch innovations within 3 months. And that way of working is spreading within the company. So we have our innovation motor running the past few years. So we've been able to innovate pretty fast. So I don't think we're behind startups at that point.
Yeah, because the AHA Online part is probably a lot smaller than the whole of albertheijn, right? That's the thing.
Yeah. So but I think the key is to just implement new ways of working within corporate environments to be able to be as fast as startups or other companies, and take that as an example of how you can work within your own company.
Yeah. So how are you organized within that within the online part? Is that like all kind of small teams that work on something together, or how does that work?
It depends on the team. It depends on the department you work for. But as a Labs team, we're basically our own entity within the company.
Okay.
And we can just validate our ideas, the ideas that we have.
You can move freely without.
And when we prove that something works within a certain experiment, we can just show it to the board, and they will give their approval.
Yeah.
So it's actually, I think that's also the way to be competitive to other companies.
You're staying nimble because you're a lot smaller in that sense, right? Because how many people are on the Labs team at the moment?
At the moment, we're with 20 people.
20 people, yeah. So that's kind of the what I usually say is that the tipping point of getting slower is probably at 40, something like that, 30, 40. So 20 is probably it's the correct size to be able to move quickly. That's
exactly, yeah.
And
a lot of teams within the company are working in the same way that we do.
Yeah.
So very fast, very agile, and that way, we use it as our corporate power combined with the fast teams are a great combination in order to innovate fast.
Yeah, because you have that kind of I don't know who I talked to that had the same thing, but you kind of have the like big brother behind you that can back you up for example the budget and actually implementing stuff, because that's mostly where kind of startups fail, is just because of budget, right? Mm-hmm. Because of budget reasons. They cannot actually do what they want to because they need X amount of money. And that's easier when you have a bigger corporate behind you.
Yeah. And I have to say, because we validate everything, we also try to keep our tests as low-key as possible.
Okay.
So we actually build prototypes by ourselves. So I think it's mostly marketing power as well.
Because if you have a new product, if we look at some of the things you've done, if you look at Appie Fly before, for example, because that was I think it's one of the latest innovations from your team, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We launched it on the 1st of October.
Yeah, so that was also in cooperation with Transavia, which is one of the big airlines in the Netherlands. It's actually, I think it's part of KLM, right?
Yeah,
it is, right?
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. So while we're talking about that, could you explain what Appie Fly is and what it tries to solve? That's also the big thing here.
Yeah, Appie Fly is basically a grocery service for flight passengers.
Okay.
So we basically hosted a design sprint together with Transavia, and we found out that customers that come back from a holiday experience an empty fridge, obviously.
Yeah, in most cases I do.
Yeah. So especially when you're more than 7 days away, for example, you clean your fridge before you go on holiday, and then when you come back, you don't have anything. And a lot of customers are irritated about it. And they also don't want to go to the supermarket because they want to keep their holiday feeling as long as possible. So this is a problem that could easily be tackled when we work together as an airline and an online grocery retailer. So we decided to work together and make online grocery delivery possible at the airport. So basically, Transavia is promoting the service during their flights, and they can order at ah.nl/appiefly.
Okay.
And when they land, the groceries are ready for them immediately in the arrivals hall.
Oh, okay.
So that's also the difference with the normal pickup point that we already have at Schiphol Airport. Pickup point we have there is pretty far away from where people land. They think it's too much of a hassle to go there, pick their groceries, and go for a drive all the way there. They just want to pick it up at the arrivals hall, take it with them, and get home and keep their holiday feeling as long as possible. Yeah,
what I'm wondering is, how do you, because you say you can order through a website.
Yeah.
So where do you do that? So at what point do you do that? Because in the air, it's kind of hard to do that because in most cases you won't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
How does that work? So does someone have to do that before they depart from their kind of destination where they were?
Yeah, at the moment it's they have to order when they check in for their flight back home. But when they check in, they also receive the possibility to order their groceries.
Okay.
But in the future, we think it is possible to maybe order on the air.
Yeah.
So we hope that this test is a success, and then we can expand to all the touch points in the customer journey.
Yeah, because I can imagine that a lot of airlines already are doing the kind of Wi-Fi in the air thing. I can imagine that if this test is successful, it would be beneficial for you and for Transavia to kind of give some kind of possibility for someone to do it in the air as well.
But what we did validate, because we actually took a flight ourselves, and then we offered the Appie Fly service in the air.
Okay.
But a lot of customers gave back to us that they thought it was too late in the customer journey, because a lot of customers already figured something out with their neighbors or their family. So they ask their family member, for example, can you do some groceries for me? So 3 days in advance was the optimal time to order their groceries for the flight back home. And that's something that we learned because we did multiple tests with this service.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's something that I didn't expect, but
No.
it does seem logical when you think about it. When you actually talk about it like you do, because for me it seems like a hassle to do it. For example, if I'm still in my hotel at the destination, it seems to me that that's more of a hassle than doing it on the plane, because on the plane I'm not doing anything anyway.
Yeah, that I was really surprised about this as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of customers are pretty control-minded, so they want to have everything checked when they go home. And also we made it super easy for them because we created packages for them. So they only need to click 1 or 2 products, and then they have their necessary products for the first days.
Yeah. So it's kind of you call it, I think it's called something like a welcome home package or something like that, right? Yeah. So that makes sense to me, because I'm not going to do all my groceries when I'm on vacation. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Customers only want some groceries for the first few moments after they arrive home.
Yeah.
But after that, they are still going to the supermarket for their big groceries for the entire week.
Yeah. So the things that are in the welcome home package, how did you pick those? Is that also something that came out of the tests, or?
Yeah, we basically validated everything. So we talked to our customers, and during the design sprint, we had multiple prototypes.
Yeah.
And we also had like meals like macaroni, spaghetti, pasta for the evening.
Yeah.
But a lot of customers told us that they, when they arrive home from a holiday, they want to keep that holiday feeling. So when they need a meal for the evening, they just go out for dinner. They just pick something up, or they will get it delivered to their home. So they gave us back that they only need breakfast and lunch. So that's something we remembered.
That you test.
Yeah. And we used that as a starting point to create our products that we have in place right now. Yeah,
because I would think that in some cases it also depends on when the flight is. Does that have kind of an effect? What did you get out of the test from that? So say for instance my flight is at night or something like that.
At night, yeah. We started since the 1st of October, so it's too early to draw some conclusions on that part. But I have to say that this is only a starting point. So when we validate that the customer need is there, so that they are actually that is beneficial for the flight passengers, then we are expanding the service from there. So it could be the case that in the future we'll have a dinner package.
Yeah.
But at the moment we only have breakfast and lunch.
Yeah, and it's also good to start. I mean, that's something that I try to promote as well when we are building the kind of products of ourselves, is that it's good to kind of start with the V1 or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we call it a minimum lovable product.
Minimum lovable product. Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. I'll keep that in our team as well when we are creating a product. Yeah, it's actually it is true. I mean, it doesn't make sense to make all the kind of logistical things that you have to do around it for everything, even if the client doesn't want it in the end. That's so cool about the kind of testing phase that you go through, right?
Yeah, and that's why it's also super important, because when we thought about the idea together with Transavia, we were so focused on the ordering at the airplane, but now we found out that people don't want it. So it would have been a really big investment to build up the ecosystem in the airplane, and then finding out that it's not going to work. Yeah,
because of the connectivity and stuff like that. Yeah, that's crazy. When I saw this kind of announcement on LinkedIn, and I was like, okay, how hard can this be? I mean, how hard is it to get things like this working? But for me, it's also interesting to see the way you kind of work together with Transavia. So could you tell a little bit about that? How that came about? Because it's two different, totally different corporations, right?
Yeah, so we actually met during an event.
Okay.
And then we had a discussion about innovation, and we decided let's just do a design sprint because we probably have overlapping issues between our customers and the customers of Transavia. And then we found out that the empty fridge is a big problem. And it's so cool because it's a co-creation between multiple big companies.
Yeah.
And most of the time, companies tend to innovate within their own company. But I personally believe that innovation exists or arises when you do it in an open innovation ecosystem.
Yeah.
So define what your customer problems are, but look for partners that can help you solve these problems. And maybe you will go a bit slower because you need a lot more stakeholder management and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you will also get a better result.
Yeah, but don't you think? Well, the thing that comes to mind when you talk about that is that did you also feel that you had like a period of kind of trust building between the companies, or was that already there from the beginning? How did that go? Because I can imagine you're not in the same playing field because they're an airliner, you're actually doing groceries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But is there still kind of a hesitant feeling going into something like a design sprint or whatever? How did that feel to you to work with another company that's not yours?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for me personally, it wasn't an issue at all.
Yeah.
We had immediate trust from both sides. But of course, you have to make good appointments about the idea and who's the owner and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
But because we are in totally different fields, it feels like an improvement to work together with a big company like that. But not only Transavia, we're also working with a lot of startups, for example, that can actually add value to our company as well.
Yeah. So, it to me that's also an interesting point to touch on, because you mentioned the kind of smart lock thing, right? How does that work? So how is that being implemented at albertheijn?
Yeah, so we found out that one of the top 5 reasons not to order online is because customers have to wait at home for their online groceries, obviously.
Yeah.
And for shoes, it's not that big of a problem because you can just get them delivered to your neighbor. But for your groceries, it is a problem because the products need to be cooled. So then we thought of the smart lock as a possible solution. And also we see that families become a lot more busy. So back in the day, only one family member would have a job, but now
everybody's working.
Yeah, everybody's working. Everybody's busy.
Yeah.
Everybody is exploring outside of work for sports and cultural activities and stuff like that. So that's a big pain for customers. So how do they get their groceries? So online groceries is growing for that reason.
Yeah, it is.
But we have to make it as easy as possible and also take a lot of hassles away for our customers. So that's why we decided to experiment with smart locks. And also it creates operational efficiency from our side because we have multiple time slots. And now we can just deliver one street in one time instead of going there multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Because everybody chose a different time slot. So that's also behind it. A reason behind it. So we now have a pilot running in the region of Alkmaar, where we actually supplied some homes with this solution. And it's important to note that all the customers are in control who's entering their home and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Because we also work with a smart doorbell.
Okay.
So they can actually see who's in front of their door. They get a notification on their smartphone, and they can just open it while they look at their smart doorbell.
Okay.
And they also receive a notification when the delivery person finished the delivery. So it gives them a very secure feeling. And to increase the secure feeling, we also work together with Centraal Beheer.
Okay.
One of the largest insurance companies in the Netherlands. So that's also an experience of co-creation with another another big company.
It's a lot of companies,
Yeah. And they take care of
The insurance.
For example, if something expensive falls.
Exactly.
By accident, they will cover it.
So how long has this been running? This kind of, it's kind of a pilot, right?
Yeah. It also started on 1st of October.
Oh, actually, okay.
So we launched multiple innovations this month.
Busy times.
Very busy. And it's pretty, it's pretty cool to experiment it, but we also face some operational issues, of course. So, but it's too early to draw conclusions as well.
So, how does that feedback loop go? So, say for instance, you've launched on the 1st of October for the smart lock project.
Yeah.
When do you kind of know? How do you know, and when do you know to actually ask the feedback? So, how people are experiencing it? How do you go about that?
Well, we do it together with our own colleagues, to be exact. So, because we found out that a lot of people are still pretty scared to implement smart locks in their home.
Yeah.
So we decided to do a pilot with colleagues of albertheijn.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually have feedback loops with them after every order they make.
Okay.
They have to provide us the customer satisfaction, possible issues that they faced. But we also asked the delivery guys to do the same thing.
How they felt like doing that.
Because the security, it's important from the customer perspective, but also from the deliverer perspective. Because what happens if a customer blames a delivery person while he didn't do anything, for example?
Yeah.
So the security part works both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So after every order, we have a feedback loop. Mm-hmm. And then after 3 months, we combine them all and take some correlation tests and draw the most important conclusions.
So what kind of issues do you know about that you faced in this project as well?
Well, for example, we have a smart doorbell,
mm-hmm.
and customers have to look on their smartphone in order to be able to open the door.
Yeah.
But when you're in a meeting or when you're away, it's sometimes you miss your smart doorbell.
Yeah.
So the delivery guy sometimes stands there for multiple minutes.
Oh, really? Well, actually, that could take a real while if you're in a meeting or something like that.
Yeah. So that's an operational hassle that we face.
Yeah.
So for scalability, we need to tackle that as well.
Yeah, it would be. I'm just thinking about how you could solve that, but that would probably mean that you need to have multiple people maybe to get that risk a little bit down.
Yeah, or validate that the person standing in front of your door is actually someone of albertheijn. In another way, maybe, for example, with fingerprint or iris scan or new technologies on that part, because the security of the customer is the most important thing.
Yeah, of course.
So if there's any other way, any other technology where we can validate that the person is actually a person of albertheijn, that would be awesome. So we're thinking about those options as well.
Yeah. So who supplies the kind of the doorbell and the smart locks and stuff like that? Who does that? Is that kind of a company that you work with, or? Yeah,
we work with 3 companies on that part.
Okay.
So one supplier for the smart doorbell.
Mm-hmm.
Then we work with the Nuki smart lock.
Okay.
And we work with the Nello One, and the Nello One is for apartment doors. So you have the Nello One on your apartment, the Nuki on your actual door, and then also the smart doorbell on your actual door.
Yeah, because the thing that I'm thinking about right now is how would you do it with apartment buildings where you have like a door in front of your own door?
Yeah.
So that would be, because I'm looking at my own situation. I live in an apartment building where we kind of have a main entrance where not everybody can go in, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if my kind of housing corporation would be like really open to just adding a smart lock there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something.
Also an issue I think that you can face in that sense.
Yeah, so the Nello One is offering a solution for that. But of course you would have to talk to your neighbors if they approve a solution like that.
Yeah.
But for example, I live in an apartment with 3 different houses. So over there, it's much more easy to get a solution like that in place.
Yeah, because you can just talk to your neighbors if they want to have that.
And if they're open-minded enough, they can just install it, and the unattended delivery would be possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in a few years it will be much more standard.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that this is really early. I mean, not a lot of companies have done this, and I think it will only work if it would be kind of generally available. And then what I mean by that is that it wouldn't be just for Albertheijn, but it would also be for, I don't know, for PostNL, which is a delivery company,
an ecosystem of other partners.
Yeah, and that's where the complexity comes in. And I also think that's the reason why a lot of companies haven't been able to do it, is because of this.
Yeah,
people don't want a lock for every supplier.
No. That's also what I personally believe in. If we as Albertheijn supply a lot of doors with this solution, I do believe in an open innovation ecosystem where multiple partners can enter. Yeah. For example, also healthcare providers. It's a great solution for them as well.
Yeah. For example, I know a lot of people get their kind of medicines delivered at home.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking about what it would mean for businesses. So in most cases, for example, we do that as well here. We order at Albertheijn, and some delivery guy goes. We do, I mean, a lot of companies do that. Yeah. I think that I don't know what the kind of ratio is on your side, how many businesses you have, or how many like normal people that just deliver at home. But I can imagine that the business side is very, very big. Is it bigger than the whole kind of personal side? So,
well, I don't know the exact numbers, but it is a pretty big part. Businesses, of course, they want to order for their entire office.
Yeah, exactly.
So the smart door lock solution could be possible for them as well.
It's not different than, I mean, in the office, usually there's someone there.
But I think the personal security is much easier to tackle in a B2B perspective, because when a delivery guy enters your home, your personal belongings are over there. But when there's an office... the company laptop can be stolen. No.
Something like that.
That's something that we, of course, don't want. But
of course.
It feels less scary, I can imagine, because also your personal photos and stuff like that. And I personally believe in trust. So we should trust each other, and we should trust all people. But unfortunately, that's not the case at all times. But for companies, that could be less of an issue.
Yeah, I can't really imagine someone stepping into my house without me being there.
No.
That's something that I think that a lot of people need to get over to get this really rolling, because, as you said, it's really a personal space. I mean,
it is.
I cannot imagine someone doing that, but I can imagine that it will become more popular as soon as people get the... for example, if my neighbor does it and I hear, nothing to worry about, it just works well, I will probably do it, because I don't like waiting at home for a package, and also not for my groceries if I want to order that. So
And would you be scared if we put it in your hallway instead of your fridge?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't think about that, but so is the concept also to do it like really deliver in the sense that you would put it in the fridge as well?
Yeah, that's what we do in the pilot right now.
Okay, so you really do actually get all the groceries out, put it in the fridge.
Yep.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, and we validated. There was actually a news item on RTL News. And they validated that only 6% of the people are open to that solution at the moment. So in-fridge delivery. So that's a pretty small percentage.
Why is that?
Yeah, because of the security feeling.
Also,
but when you asked 20 years ago whether people wanted a smartphone, everybody was like, no, I'm not going to do that ever. If you want to call me, just call me. And if I'm at home, you're lucky. And if not, no problem. So I think technological innovations take some time to be fully adopted.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So we are the first in the Netherlands to experiment with that, and
Yeah, I didn't know that it actually entails also the delivery in the fridge, because that makes it actually more interesting to me than just doing it in the hallway or just on my table.
Because we fully take care of you, and we fully supply you with your groceries. Yeah,
it's logical. I mean, some things need to be refrigerated, so you would have to do it. So the hallway is actually not an option in that sense.
Yeah, if you work with specific cooling
of course.
boxes or stuff like that, it could be done.
Yeah.
But in-fridge delivery, I think, is the future, but it would take some time for it to be fully adopted.
Yeah, and I'm wondering about something else. So there was a lot of news about the Google Home being sold at albertheijn.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the reasoning why to sell the Google Home in albertheijn as well?
Yeah, well, we believe that voice is growing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In the US, it's pretty standard.
Yep.
But until a few days ago, it wasn't available in the Dutch language yet. So now it is. And we want to become the assistant in your kitchen.
Yeah.
So when you're cooking and you have dirty hands, you need to touch your iPhone with your dirty hands in order to be able to read the recipe.
Yeah.
So we want to take all those burdens away and just become your kitchen assistant.
Yeah.
So through the Appie Assistant on Google, you can just ask what you can eat tonight, if he can help you cook, but also order your groceries through aha.nl.
Mm-hmm.
And we think that it will become much more standard in the coming years.
Yeah. So, what I'm thinking about is actually the real problem here is, or maybe the kind of challenge here is, okay, I want pepper, so I need to have black pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have black pepper, but I want to have it from a specific brand, because you have your own kind of house brand.
Yeah.
But you also sell kind of A-list products or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So that's something that I can see being a challenge there, right?
Yeah, you could just ask Google, add pepper of this brand to my list.
Yeah, exactly.
And it also works. So, yeah, it could be a solution for every specific need.
Is that so? That's already available, right? So it's already available when you purchase that Google Home right now. So you could already do it.
Yeah.
And does it also? You mentioned kind of help me cook.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? So does that work with you have like the allerhande thing, which you have all kinds of recipes and stuff like that. Does it work with that, or how does that work?
Yeah. For example, if you have tomatoes and mozzarella in your fridge, you can just ask Google or Appie through Google what you can make with these ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And then you will just say, help me prepare this recipe. Take me to the next step. Take me to the next step. So you can just guide allerhande recipe when you're ready for the next step.
Yeah.
And in the future, that will become much more automated as well.
Yeah.
Because your home is getting constantly smarter.
Mm-hmm.
So your fridge could already know in the future what you have in your fridge automatically.
Yeah.
Also, for example, see your schedule. Like, okay, you're going to the gym tonight and you still have mozzarella and pasta in your fridge. You could cook a very protein-rich meal. This is how you should do it. And I automatically will order your missing ingredients for you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, but that's really crazy. Although, yeah, of course, a lot of people will say, I don't want you to order anything automatically for me.
And that's also possible. Customers should always be able to do what they want.
Yeah.
If they want to go to the store with a manually written shopping list, they could just do it.
Yeah,
But if they want it to become more automated, they could also do it.
Yeah, you're trying to get the friction away out of grocery shopping.
Yeah,
that's kind of the real goal, right? It's making it as easy as possible to get your groceries without you having to really think about or I forgot something, or that happens.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
I don't
we don't want you to spend time on grocery shopping if you could spend time is getting more limited anyway, and more valuable. So we want you to spend it in the way you want it.
Yeah.
So if you really like grocery shopping, you should also be able to spend hours in the Albertheijn store. But if you want it to become more automated, that's also possible.
Yeah. And so what, other than maybe voice, what do you think it will become more and more apparent as innovations within that the grocery shopping market? What do you think?
Yeah, the online grocery shopping?
Yeah.
Well, it will grow, obviously. A lot more customers adopt the home delivery of groceries. But also new ways of delivering will become standard. And by that I mean that cities become much more crowded, but also governments want to be more sustainable and ban vans out of the city. So new ways of delivering will become standard. For example, driverless car delivery in the future, but also a lot more electrical vehicles, bike delivery, and maybe even drone delivery. That's the thing that's, I think, the biggest challenge is actually to get kind of not rid of the delivery guy, but that is a big challenge, right? I mean, the biggest challenge is how do you get it actually inside of the home, and not just because, of course, you can just hire someone and they will drive around, but that's not the most efficient way to do it. No, and also you want to ban the vans out of the city and become much more efficient. So I also believe that companies have to work together in order to create an optimal delivery network within urban areas, for example.
Yeah, because you don't want to stand like in the crowded highways and stuff like that just because you want to deliver something.
Yeah, and next to voice and new delivery ways, I really believe that our homes will become so much smarter. So your kitchen already knows what you want to eat tonight, and he will just automatically order it. And next to that, I also believe in automation and robotization.
Okay.
In the online grocery market.
Yeah, and also what's really interesting is also the thing that Amazon is doing, but also Albertheijn is doing with the kind of without the how do you call it? So without the real hassle of going through the cashier's points and stuff like that. So
the seamless checkout.
The totally seamless checkout.
Just grab and go. Yeah,
I think that also will be adapted much faster, I think, than even the whole delivery part, right?
Yeah, I think it's a combination always. And I also believe in the combination between the on and the offline world a lot more. Because now when you're in the store, we don't recognize you based on your online behavior, for example. But in the future, that will become much more evident as well.
Yeah.
So we already know that you searched for a specific recipe. And in store, we will guide you through the store to pick it up much more fast. Yeah,
because now sometimes I have to really think about, okay, I have to go with this alley because there's where I need to have this thing. So
and maybe AR or VR could help you walk through the store.
I was actually thinking about, do you even need stores anymore? But it's more that you want to have that option instead of it being the only way to do it. That's
and customers also want to feel the fresh products, for example, that they're going to buy.
Of course.
For example, an avocado, it's really important that it's a certain amount of that there's a certain amount of ripeness to the avocado, not too hard, but also not too soft. So that's really, I think the stores will never go away. I do think that the online world is becoming much more, that will grow much more. But I think it will always be a combination.
Okay, and to wrap up, because I want to ask the hardest question that I always ask everybody. What are you most proud of?
Well, of course, I'm really proud of the innovations and the technologies that we managed to launch. So project-wise, I'm pretty excited about Appie Fly, but also the Smart Lock pilot. But I'm most proud of the fact that we managed to innovate super fast. So basically, we've created an innovation fast lane within the company. And therefore, we are able to launch innovations from ideas to pilots within 3 months.
Yeah.
That's extremely fast for a corporate. And I'm really proud that we managed to do this as a team.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's totally something to be proud of. I mean, looking at the things that we discussed, that's like it's pretty groundbreaking in that sense that not a lot of nobody's actually doing it at that scale and actually really implementing it. So I think that's something to be really proud of.
Yeah, thank you.
So I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, it was great.
I liked it very much. So you can find albertheijn on aha.nl.
Yeah, obviously, and just go to your store to...
Of course, I mean there's a lot of albertheijns.
Yeah.
And also you have an app, so
Appie.
Yeah. You can order through that, I think, as well, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. And for the listeners, you can find Bits versus Bytes on bitsvsbytes.com, and also on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, all the major podcast platforms, and also on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. It's all Bits vs Bytes. And until next time.